The holiday season is considered one of the hardest times of the year for anyone struggling with mental health. In fact, the National Alliance on Mental Illness found that 64% of people living with a mental illness report that their conditions worsen over the holidays. And now the recent death by suicide of famed dancer, producer, and DJ Twitch has sparked another national conversation about the struggles many people face during the holiday season. We're going to explore some of those concerns with Dr. Gregory Scott Brown. He's a psychiatrist and author of the book, The Self-Healing Mind, an essential 5-step practice for overcoming anxiety and depression and revitalizing your life. Dr. Brown, thank you very much for joining us. I think we've long known that the holidays can be stressful for many, if not all of us, but especially so for people with mental illness. Why is that?
There are a lot of different factors at play. We all know how challenging and stressful the gift giving and even the gift receiving process can be. Unfortunately, some people are enduring financial challenges over the holidays, and as much as we adore spending time with family and friends, hosting them can lead to an uptick in anxiety levels for some of us. But another idea that's supported by some good science is the fact that during the winter months, we're just exposed to less sunlight. That means that melatonin, the hormone that's released in the brain that tells us it's time to sleep, is produced earlier in the day. And that might cause some of us to feel more sluggish, tired, and even depressed.
So what does that mean in terms of the symptoms people have? How does someone know that these symptoms are there, that they're coming on?
Right. So the symptoms of depression would consist of if someone is isolating more, if they've noticed a change in their appetite. Sometimes people will eat too little or overeat. If someone is sleeping more than they normally do. If someone is experiencing thoughts of death or thoughts of suicide. These are all indicators that someone may be struggling with depression, especially if the symptoms are lasting for at least 2 weeks.
Sometimes people can be good at hiding their symptoms. They can seem as if everything's fine. They may be working really hard to seem as if everything is fine, when underneath they're really troubled.
And I'll tell you, Judy, that's something that honestly we're all thinking about right now, especially in the aftermath of the tragic death of Stephen Twitch Boss, right? Everyone is saying that he just seemed to be so happy. And my message would be that there's no one face to depression. There's no one particular way that any mental illness looks. And people who are depressed, even people who are suicidal, some of them are able to get up, they're able to go to work, they're able to smile, they're able to hide it quite well. And that's why it's so important that we're asking each other how we're doing, that we're checking in on each other. A text or a phone call, especially this time of year, might seem like a small gesture, but it can actually go a long way.
So those are some things that people who may know that a friend or a family member may be susceptible to these dark feelings are good to know. But what about for people themselves who are feeling a particular emotional stress, or maybe they know they have a mental diagnosis? What should they be on the lookout for? How do they cope with this?
Well, I mean, especially if you're experiencing suicidal thoughts, I'd say that 988 is a really, really great resource that people shouldn't feel the shame of taking advantage of. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the thing about it is if you're meeting with a mental health professional during the holidays, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'd have to continue meeting with a mental health professional for the next year or 2 years or 3 years. Some people just check in when they're struggling, and that's okay.
Is it truly that easy, Dr. Brown, to find someone to talk to confide in, kind of on the spur of the moment, if you're feeling, again, these dark feelings?
It's a process that is worthwhile. Sometimes it might take, a couple of days to really connect with someone. But I'll tell you, someone like me, I'm accepting new patients, and many other psychiatrists and therapists are accepting new patients too. And so, again, if you're feeling like you really need a professional to speak with, don't feel ashamed to pick up the phone and at least make that effort.
And finally, just we know that these are things that cut across people by age, by gender, by race.
The suicide rate among men is actually 3 to 4 times the rate of suicides among women. And so, a lot of folks might think that, men don't struggle with mental illness, or men are able to tough it out. But the truth is that there are over 130 suicides on average every day in the United States. And suicide and mental illness doesn't discriminate against race or gender. I mean, anyone is at risk. And that's why we all need to be not only thinking about mental health, but talking about it as well.
It's so hard to think about it this time, but as you say, really important to remember that this may be going on with someone you know well and someone you love. So thank you so much, Dr. Gregory Scott Brown, for sharing this with us. We appreciate it. And if you or a loved one is having emotional distress or thoughts of suicide, text or call the national hotline, as you just heard. It's 988 to connect with a Lifeline specialist for support. They are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.